We love soup season!
Hi, we're the cooking family, and I'm Rachel. Today we are going to be making Italian sausage lentil soup. It is one of our fall favorites. We have several categories of ingredients, and so our first ingredient is Italian sausage, and we are just using mild, and it's already ground up. And then we have vegetables. We're using a purple onion, and then 3 carrots, and then garlic and celery. And then we also have these frozen red bell peppers that we found on sale, and then we just had a chopping party and then chopped up and then had them in the freezer. You can use any color of bell peppers that you like, but red is what we're going to be using this time. We also have chicken stock, and we also have some spices. We have oregano, fennel, and basil. These are all dried, but you can use fresh if you have them on hand. And then we also have lentils. We are using 1 pound of dried lentils tonight. And so let's get that started. Elijah is going to begin by putting the Italian sausage into our Instant Pot.
You can go with that, Miguel.
And so he is just going to put that pound of Italian sausage into the Instant Pot. And so we're just putting that all in. And you can put it in frozen if you're starting dinner late. It will turn out just the same. And Elijah is going to turn it all the way down to saute. And we're going saute. He's got it right there, and then he's going to press start. And so we're just doing saute. This isn't a sauteing dish, but we're just going to get it heated up and start browning the sausage so that's already hot and ready to go. And then Abraham is going to come in and chop up our onion. He is going to get out his cut glove and his knife and chop up our onion for us, and he's going to show us how.
Okay, the first thing you do is cut off this stem end right here. Just cut that whole thing off. And then cut it in half lengthwise, like that. And then you're going to take off this whole layer right here. We don't want any of that papery stuff in our food. Just take that whole thing off. And then you are going to start cutting thin rays, not all the way through to the root end, but just enough so that you can keep this root end intact. And leave about ½ inch of space. And then you're going to use a locomotion to to dice the onion. And then you just throw this root end away. Then you do the same thing with the other half.
Great. Thank you very much, Abraham. And so I'm just going to add a quick note. If you have any questions, you can just ask those on the comments, and then we will try to answer them as soon as possible. And if you need, and you can find the link in the description of this recipe below. Just click on that, and you can find that whole recipe. And so Abraham's just going to finish chopping up that onion. And Elijah is browning our sausage. He's just chopping it up. And then the next thing we're going to chop is our carrot. Can I have the cut glove? Thank you. So here is the way we cut our carrots. So I'm just going to take the raw carrot And I'm just going to peel it very quickly, just get all that dry stuff off. And then put those in our trash bowl. And then I'm going to cut both ends off because those are dry ends and we don't really want to eat those. And then I'm going to cut the whole thing in half. And then I am going to cut an extra layer of peeling on the bottom of each one of these. And that gives it a flat surface to sit on while we chop so that it doesn't wobble. And then I'm going to slice each one in half so we have just halves. I'm going to do that to both of them. And then I'm going to line them up and slice each one in half again. And I'm just going to put my hand on top of this. And that way it gives me a little bit more leverage and I don't have to worry about my hands being in the way of the knife. And so now we've got quarters, and then I'm going to line those up and then curl my fingers and then slice all the way across. And just keep on doing that, thin enough so that they're not a choking hazard, but thick enough so that they don't get undercooked. What? So this is our cut glove, and it's just a protective glove. This is just a protective glove that we use so that we don't get cut. And we always remember to keep on using our regular cutting safety, but it makes it a little bit safer for kids in the kitchen. And Elijah, while I finish chopping these up, you can pour this into that bowl so those can start cooking. He's just going to dump all those in. They're going to get cooking. And then we're going to finish up with the cutting. I'm just going to do this other one too. Just a fast peel, get all that stuff off. And then ends. And then I think Mommy is going to do the lentils. Is that what you're going to do next?
Abigail is going to start working on the
great.
celery. So Abigail, tell us about your celery.
Okay, so we're going to take off 2 stalks, and we need to wash them.
We actually did wash them.
So I'm going to need the cut glove as soon as we take
Okay,
there's some more down here.
But talk nice and loud, baby.
Okay, so I'm going to first cut these 2 ends off. Want to get about that much, and then put them in the trash bowl. And then we like to keep these leaves.
Go ahead and cut the dried up ends off the other ends.
Like where?
The very tippy, about a 1/4 inch. There you go.
Okay. So now we're going to
Hold your fingers in a nice arch.
We're going to cut this straight down the middle vertically. And you're going to do the same thing with the other one. Just like that. And then what you're going to do next is you're going to do a locomotion. And you're just going to dice them. And you want to do them kind of thin. Not like paper thin, but
About between about a 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit less.
and then you just keep doing that. Oh,
Well, you keep your eyes on your food at all times, and I'll explain. So we have a trash bowl here, and right now it has all the cuttings of our carrots and celery and onion in it. And then in a little while, once we're through, we're going to use all of these pieces. We have a bag in our freezer that we always just throw these cuttings into. And then when we're ready to make broth, we just pull out the cuttings and throw it in our broth bowl. Little one is maybe getting very interested. Okay, so Abigail, your celery is all cut. How much celery is this?
2 stalks.
2 stalks are almost a cup.
Yes.
Is how much celery we're putting into our soup tonight. And Elijah's over here. Abigail, we're going to start peeling the garlic. And the celery and carrots are going to go right in the pot.
Okay, here it is.
And then Elijah, if you would step down for a second and go ahead and take this to the trash. And then wash your hands. And then Abraham is going to season it up with some herbs.
This is oregano. That's a tablespoon. I'm doing a good rounded teaspoon of oregano right here. And this is dried, but you can use fresh if you have that on hand. So just pouring that in. And then basil.
A whole rounded teaspoon for all 3 of these, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then what's the last one?
For fennel.
Okay, then.
So we really like using these 3 spices in almost everything Italian that we do. Oregano, basil, and fennel, and we just keep those on hand all the time. Wait 1 second. Okay, now Abraham's going to give that a stir. And Miriam is ready with her bell peppers. Just open that bag right up. Like Rachel said before, we found these red bell peppers on sale this summer, and this is how we store them. We cut them up, and then we store them in a Ziploc bag, and then we just scoop out however much we need at the time. And we find it to be a really easy way to just have bell peppers on hand all winter long. And then we got them ready to use, and it also saves a step. It's like a little freezer prep that's already ready to go whenever you are.
Again, if you've just started watching, if you have any questions or would like to see the full recipe, you can ask your questions in the comments, and we have our link in the description of the recipe below. So if you need the recipe, you can just click on that link and you can get the whole thing. Or you can go to thecookingfamily.com, and we have all of our recipes there.
Okay.
And so Abigail's going to do her garlic.
So Abigail's smashing up the garlic for Miriam, and we're all going to help her peel. And Miriam is getting out her chopper. This chopper is a great job for a younger child to do because it's kind of more controlled than a knife. And then Abigail, if you would just take the knife and set it over on the counter out of the way, that would be great. And
We're just peeling off all this paper.
the smashing of the garlic breaks the paper, which is really hard to peel if it's not broken. And it just makes it so much easier to peel once that's broken. And we're using 6 cloves of garlic here. You can use any kind of garlic that you have on hand. If you have on hand jarred garlic in your fridge, we use that. How many is this? Well, so these little bitties kind of count as 1 when we put them together, but that's 6. You can use powdered garlic if that's what you have. Use it. But fresh garlic really does taste the best. You are doing a fantastic job, Miriam. Okay, check and see if it looks chopped up enough. Okay, looks great. And then put it right on in there. I'll scrape it off into the pot. Excellent. Okay. And the next step is the lentils. And let's see, our lentils are here. And Hannah is going to come and help sort the lentils with Lydia. Okay. Actually, Hannah, you can come sit right here. And Lydia's going to be right here. She might just drink her milk. I don't know. I'm going to stand right here. Okay, so we're going to pour the lentils. We have this mesh strainer. And when you're sorting lentils, you're looking for sticks and little pieces of rock. Okay, let go, Miss Hannah. Because lentils and beans and other legumes did come straight out of a field. So every now and then you'll find rocks or pieces of plant material. Like here's a little something brown. Hannah, can you get this little brown piece out? Lydia's trying. I only have one hand. So there's a brown lentil that you just kind of want to get out anything that might be no good or have any bug chews in it from the field. Okay, girls, did you see anything in there?
Yeah.
This is a little bit of a messy thing for a toddler to do with actual lentils. Beans would be better for the tiny ones like this one. She's about 18 months old, but she's having a great time. And then you want to wash your lentils or your beans, whatever recipe you're doing, but of course, obviously, we're doing lentils. You want to wash any dust from the field off of those, and Hannah's doing a great job of stirring them around so we can get any dust off of these. Great job, girls. Okay, we're going to shut off that water and take this to the soup pot. And here it goes. There it goes in, baby. And meanwhile, you can hear the food still sauteing away down in there, pre-cooking. And the next person is going to be Elijah, opening up this can of tomatoes.
So we are using a 14.5-ounce can of diced tomatoes. And it does take some muscle. You might want to press down a little bit more. It does take some muscle to get this open. So sometimes they need a little bit of help. But Elijah has definitely got that muscle. Here, can I help you for a second? There you go. That's the hardest part, just getting it down in there. But once you get it going, he's really awesome at this job. And so he's just going to take the lid off of this can. And then I'm going to take off the lid because it can be pretty sharp in here. So we always have to be careful about that. And then we're just going to throw that away. And then Elijah is going to pour that into our pot. All that, along with the juice. We love to have that juice in there. It adds a lot of flavor. Great job, Elijah. You can just toss that into the trash can. And our last ingredient is our chicken stock. So we are just going to fill this up to our 2/3 max, or the PC max. And Mommy, could you help open this for me?
The PC on the inside of this pot stands for pressure cooking max. And this one is a 6-quart Instant Pot Ultra. It's okay to just leave that in. That's not too much. You want to go ahead and pour it in?
Sure.
So the PC Max is the pressure cooking maximum for the Instant Pot 6-quart Ultra. And the older model of the Duo has rice cooking measurements. And our maximum in that one is the 10 line because that's exactly 4 quarts, which is 2/3 the capacity of the 6-quart pot. And it's just right up to the top. This makes a nice big batch of about 9 good sized servings of lentil soup. And then the next step is just to close the lid up and set it to cooking. So the Instant Pot Ultra, one of the advantages of it is it doesn't ever, it always resets so the pressure valve is closed to seal when you're cooking. So we've been sauteing this, so our temperature is nice and warm already, but we're going to have to press cancel to start over. So we're going to shut off the sauteing, and then we're going to turn this, and we are going to go to the soup function. And we're going to press to select, and you can use soup on your Duo also, or any other Instant Pot that you might have. And we don't want it to cook for an hour and 30 minutes. We want our time. We're going to select time, and we're going to go down to just 15 minutes. And then press start. The soup function on the Instant Pot, the temperature comes up a little bit more gradually and stays at a slightly lower temperature than manual. So that would be an advantage to soup. It just doesn't cook quite as hot, and it's a little bit more gentle on your food. So if you're having problems with food sticking or any soup sticking on the bottom, you might want to try your soup setting. Okay, so we love this recipe because it's quick and easy once you have all your ingredients chopped up. But sometimes I haven't even planned for dinner, and I might have a hunk of frozen meat. So we have done a test where you can just throw in a whole chub of frozen Italian sausage. So let me grab that out of the freezer. We're pretending that we've done nothing to get dinner ready, and I just took this out of the freezer. It's frozen solid, and I'm just going to run it under. So what you would do is, if you're having a dinner emergency, is run this under your hot water for just a second, and then that loosens up the plastic wrap. And then I've got my scissors here. I'm just going to cut it open and peel off this outside wrapper. We always put these scissors right straight in the dishwasher and wash them every time. And then Rachel, would you grab that Instant Pot insert down below?
Sure.
And what you would do, we'll do it right over here.
Okey-doke.
Like I said, this is very frozen hard, but we're going to peel that off, put it in the bottom of my pot, and proceed with the recipe like we just did. Chop up all your vegetables. You can go ahead and put it on saute, and chop up all your vegetables, put all those other ingredients in, and then at the end, you can just take that whole chub of sausage out. And I've got one over here that we made earlier that way to show you how it works. So this would be your raw, how it goes in with your pile of vegetables like we just showed you. And now, this is our pot we made earlier. And it's been natural releasing now for 28 minutes, and you can see that the pressure is still up. So we're going to go ahead and carefully reach and turn off, or release the valve, release that steam. You can hear that there's not much steam left in there. Rachel, if you would hand me the wooden spatula so I can get that out, and I'm going to get a plate here for the sausage that we are about to take out, and maybe some tongs. Okay, so this hasn't gone all the way down yet. And we're going to pull out, like I said, we're going to pull out that whole chub of meat. There, the valve just dropped. We're going to open it up. And it smells delicious. And I'm just going to find down in here where my sausage is. So you can see how that cooked all as one big hunk. And I need my measuring thermometer. I don't remember where we put that. Anyone remember? One moment. This is pretty much how it is every time we're looking for that thermometer. Where's the thermometer? Okay, we're going to check the dishwasher, although we never put it in the dishwasher.
It's right here.
Awesome, girl. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to measure that temperature just to make sure it's as hot as it needs to be cooked through. And you can see that it's at 180, 200. It's plenty hot. That meat is completely cooked through. And it started out completely frozen. And so now what you're going to do is just take your spatula and you're going to break up this sausage just like you would if you were cooking it in a skillet or if you had been sauteing it at the very beginning, like browning it. And you're going to want a nice solid wooden paddle that's got a flat edge on it in order to do this job. Otherwise, the meat's just not going to break up as easily. This one is my favorite. It's an OXO and it's nice and sturdy and really big. So we're just going to break this up into little bits, as small as we can get. And then we're going to put it back into the pot and stir it together and serve up a nice big bowl of lentil soup. Okay, that looks great. And then Rachel, if you would grab my bowl back there, that would be awesome. And you can see how this browned a little bit on the bottom while we were sauteing, and that's just going to add a lot of nice flavor. So stir this up, and it looks delicious and smells delicious. Those lentils, I really like cooking lentils in the Instant Pot because they're still recognizable. Sometimes when you cook these in a slow cooker or even on the stove, they're not as solid. It's just a whole, the pieces are not whole a lot of times. But in the Instant Pot, they stay nice because under pressure, your ingredients are not rolling around inside your pot. They just get to sit nice and still under pressure. And here is our great big wonderful bowl of Italian sausage lentil stew. And these kiddos love it. We finish off one pot with every time we have eaten this, we've eaten the whole entire pot because everyone wants seconds, including this little one. So we hope you love it as much as we do, and that we hope that you have a cozy winter eating lots of soups. So go and grab your family and cook a great meal together.
Bye.
See you later.